President Trump meeting with Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney at the White House, and it could get a little testy today. Remember this exchange? Last time Carney was in the Oval Office.
Having met with the owners of Canada over the course of the campaign last several months, it's not for sale, won't be for sale ever.
Never say never. Never say never.
Now, Canada has been hit hard by President Trump's tariffs. Steel, aluminum, lumber, trucks, all being slapped with levies from Washington and no deal in sight. Welcome to the Big Money Show, everyone. I'm Jackie DeAngelis, along with my co-hosts, Marcus Lemonis, Dagan McDowell, Brian Brenberg, and with us for the hour, Making Money host, Charles Payne. Always great to see you. The president says it's about fairness that companies are packing up and coming back to the United States after decades of bad deals. His message to the Canadians, if you want access to the world's largest economy, well, you've got to play by America's rules. And with Washington now reviewing the USMCA ahead of 2026, one thing is crystal clear. This White House isn't just renegotiating trade, it's rewriting the rules of the global economy. And we had a market that was a little bit stronger earlier, now moving into red territory, a little bit steeper, Charles. But so many different things this market has to consider. International trade talks, interest rates, what's happening on the global stage, foreign policy. And it seems like it's still taking things in stride. But the question is, where can the president get with Carney today regarding Canada?
Well, it's up to Carney, really. Listen, he bolted into the job, running on an anti-Trump campaign. That was brilliant on his part. It was unfortunate for the people of Canada because his party has let them down. Forgetting about tariffs and all that, they have failed the Canadian people for a long time. Of all the developed nations out there, if you look over the past 10 years, none have fared worse than Canada. And so, you have a resource-rich nation, but you have other things that you need to do. Get up to speed. You talked about the market, up 7 days in a row. We'll give a little bit back today, but it's AI-powered. It's the future-powered. And, they've got some raw materials and, oil and all that old-school stuff. But, I just think he's failing the people of Canada, but they have failed them for a long time. And it's time for him to decide, hey, you know what? You put up a brave face, but now let's cut some deals.
Yeah.
So I think the ball is in his court, Carney's court.
And I'm surprised, Brian, as such a big trading partner with the United States, such an important one as well, that Carney has held out this long.
Yeah, I am too. Although I agree with Charles. He went on the I loathe Donald Trump ticket, and that's how he ended up in office. Bad thing to do now that you're the prime minister and you are running the country. Right. What can happen here today? I would love to see something happen on agriculture with Canada. They have a horrendous supply management system in their egg sector. It impoverishes their own people. It costs their own people on average $450 a year in lost purchase opportunities because of it. We've got farmers in America who are saying, I need some help because China's not buying our soybeans anymore. We've got Canada in the spot we want them from a leverage perspective. Their economy is struggling. They're struggling in lumber. They're struggling in steel, automotives, all this stuff. So get together and let's get something done. Let's open up their agriculture market. Let's help American farmers. Let's give them some UK-level relief on steel and aluminum. And let's strengthen the relationship with our closest neighbor, because I can tell you one thing. China is in the Western Hemisphere building deep economic relationships right now, and Brazil is foremost among them. If we let them continue to move up in the hemisphere, that's a problem for us. I think this is a great opportunity. Trump set us up well. Get it done on agriculture.
I have to just stop. Rather than focusing on hatching eggs, I want to focus on hatching manufacturing and housing in the U.S. And the steel and lumber is a problem for us here in the U.S. If we want to reshore everything back to the States and we want to improve affordable housing, we're going to need that steel and lumber. If you look at Canada's economy, 43% of their GDP is their own residential housing market. 43% of their total GDP. So there's a lot to be done here, but I think the steel and lumber is something that we need just the same.
Well, but we can deal on that, is what I'm saying. We've set ourselves up to be able to deal on that. So let's deal.
Canada's economy is in much more turmoil than ours. It's in free fall. And by the way, the housing market, they have the most overblown housing market out there. Their market is so expensive. You talk about a ticking time bomb. So if they're counting on that to sort of keep them going for the next couple of years, they're making a huge mistake. States.
Oh, no, I'm not asking them to keep it going. I'm telling you, that's their vulnerability.
Yeah.
Right.
And we say we can cut a deal on steel and lumber. We want companies to build. We want houses to be more affordable. We need the steel and the lumber to be less expensive than it is today.
But part of this is the renegotiation of USMCA, which is happening in the backdrop of the tariff conversation. 2026, there's a deadline, and so the president knew that he had to renegotiate certain aspects of that. I'm wondering if that's going to be more important today, and tariffs are some of the leverage that he's using to get what he wants there.
The greatest leverage is the fact that Canada's economy is flat on its back, and our economy is in good shape. This morning, the goods trade deficit, Canada's goods trade deficit widened because its exports are collapsing,
Yeah.
including gold, of all things. So the trade gap, its trade deficits running for 7 straight months. The shortfall for July was revised down. The gap came in wider than expected. Exports down broadly for the entire month, despite the recent recovery in shipments to the United States collapsing. American-bound exports dropping for the first time since the big slump in April at the start of the trade kerfuffle. And here's the piece in Bloomberg with this headline: Can Canada survive Donald Trump? Under assault from an increasingly aggressive and authoritarian United States, the country's future looks less secure than at any time in post-war history. Let's just remind whoever wrote that that Justin Trudeau, are we getting into the, okay.
We're going to go into President Trump and Carney at the White House.